Recording in progress.
All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the September 8th regular meeting of the Scio Township Planning Commission. That roll call, please.
Grant.
Here.
Walsh, here. Moore. Hyde, here. Culberson.
Here.
Fletcher.
Present.
Kindle.
Here. All right, thank you, everyone. 100% attendance. Next is the adoption of the agenda. Are there any revisions?
I would move that we bring AC3 up to AC1.
Okay, that would be the Township Fire Station.
That's cool.
Oh.
And with that revision, I move adoption of the, should get this, in adoption of the agenda.
That's supported by Fletcher. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the agenda as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll move forward with the agenda with the one item move forward. All right. And next, communications and correspondence. I haven't received any. Is there anything anyone would like to report?
Yeah, the note from Doug Lewan.
Oh, the memo from Doug.
Doug, yeah.
Yeah, about the zoning.
Chicken and the egg on
On the.
the zoning versus the ZBA variance.
Then, yeah, and I don't think that got uploaded.
I didn't see it.
We should upload that as correspondence. Thank you for remembering that. And it was just clarifying the process for the revised. Let's see, conditional, when it comes back as a conditional use, it needs a variance from the ZBA, and that it should come to the planning commission. And in the past, what we've done is, it's then in process and we could table it until it goes to ZBA. So looking at past precedent.
So we should approve the conditional use first.
No, you know, we
We do it the way we did.
Yeah, you can have a public hearing and then it's in the process. And then, but you can, the PC can table it or take any other action, but it should come to the planning commission first. So it establishes itself as an application with a proposed zoning change. Okay. We have no presentations, so I'll open up public comment. And we do have 2 public hearings this evening. So this public comment would be for folks wishing to address the planning commission on matters that are not on a public hearing portion of the agenda or seek information on any other matters. Such oral presentation should be limited to 3 minutes, except for a representative or a spokesperson of an organization shall have 5. And with that, I will open public comment at 7:03. Welcome.
I'm Rob Pattinson, Scio Township resident. When the agenda packet got printed last week, I printed it up and I took it over to the family that started the solar discussion last year. They had their application or their variance application before the ZBA and got denied. And that started the conversation with you guys about the solar ordinance thing. And I wanted to do 2 things. I wanted to thank them for their suffering, helping the township because it started the conversation. And I also wanted to give them a heads up that now that the zoning is changing, that might improve their chances of getting a variance. And as I was talking to the husband, it turns out they already installed the solar panels. They're in the backyard. They moved them forward 12 feet. They have a 3-year-old son who is very lively, and it has encroached on their backyard. And now their garage shades the solar panels for most of the afternoon, so they're a lot less efficient than they could have been otherwise. And so I thought they might be here tonight to share their thoughts with you. They were not happy that a year later, after they went through everything they went through, that now it's going to be easier. And so just wanted to give you a heads up about that. But thank you for the solar discussions that you guys have been doing for the last year and a half, 2 years. And for all that you're doing tonight. I really appreciate these discussions and that tonight it's finally all coming together. So in the planning report, and is Laura online by chance?
She is.
Thank you, Laura, for making the planning reports so constant. That is very helpful for letting us know what's coming down the pipe. I read about the August 1st deadline for the DBM AA LLC on Jackson Road to meet with the Planning Commission, the neighbor, and Carlisle. Did that August 1st meeting happen? And what is happening with that violation? And then tonight's meeting is important because it brings together all the work you've done the last few years. Laura, you've been working on these specific issues for the last couple of years, and thank you for that work and all you do for Scio. I've appreciated the detailed discussions the Planning Commission has had for the last couple of years. In tonight's public hearings, I ask for 3 things. Please explain why each of the proposed changes are happening. Please explain the purpose of the changes and what they're intended to make, the difference they're intended to make in the various zoning areas. And lastly, please explain the impact these changes will have on future zoning applications and enforcement. I ask for these explanations so that residents are clear on exactly what these changes will make to our zoning ordinances. And since you're bringing it all together tonight, now is the time to sort of summarize the whole thing.
Thanks very much. Is there anyone else?
I don't know if this would go in this portion or you mentioned there's another portion.
Yeah, there will be public hearings for each of the proposed changes to the zoning ordinance and the
Okay.
text amendment.
So I'm here for the C2 indoor recreation zoning.
Yeah, then you can come up during that time.
Oh, during that.
If-
Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, during the that public hearing,
Okay.
yeah.
Thanks.
Anyone else in Township Hall? If not, then go online.
No, yeah.
Okay. Seconds that they find their raise your hand button. Okay, I'll move to close. Commissioner Welch, support by Commissioner Hyde. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, closed at 7:07. That, move on to our approval of minutes, and we have our joint meeting and our 8:25 meeting to approve. Let's take the 8:19 joint meeting first.
Move to approve the August 19th meeting minutes.
And support by Commissioner Fletcher. Any other comments? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and then moving on to the minutes of the 8:25 meeting. Any,
Move to approve the meeting minutes of the August 25th meeting.
right, and, okay, that was Brent and support by Hyde. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that both sets of minutes are approved as posted. Then we'll move on to our public hearings, and we do have 2 public hearings this evening. The first is OA 25005, Scio Township text amendment changes, and there are 3 of those. And then we'll do a separate public hearing for the C2 text amendment change. So with that, I'll open the public hearing OA 25005, the Scio Township text amendment changes. And I'll turn that over to our planning consultant who can give us a briefing on those. And I think you heard Rob Pattinson's request to kind of do those explanations. So not only the planning commission has it, but as I look back here, right?
All right. And while your back was turned.
Yeah, but the public has the explanation as well. Thank you.
Sure. So I'll go one at a time. We'll start with the accessory dwelling unit ordinance. There are some definition changes for the accessory dwelling unit and family unit. We also had to modify the definition of community wastewater system in order to exclude an accessory dwelling unit from those septic requirements. Um, Currently, we do not have, Scio Township does not have an accessory dwelling unit ordinance. And so this is something that we get questioned about a lot. This is probably one of the number one things residents come to me and ask if that's something that they can do, is to provide a secondary dwelling, whether it's for their aging parent or a handicapped family member, or a displaced member of their family while they're looking for work, or a student, or et cetera. So this would allow for accessory dwelling units as a permitted use in all residential zoning districts. There are some standards that you have to meet in order to be approved. Primarily, you're only allowed one accessory dwelling unit. It can be a separate housekeeping unit, but can exceed a maximum of 1,000 square feet. The property owners must reside on the property, whether in the principal structure or in the unit. The accessory dwelling unit shall be occupied by one family unit. Again, we defined what that family unit was. And all setback and lot coverage requirements of the district shall be met. And one additional off-street parking space will be required for that accessory dwelling unit. As I said, this is a brand new use that would be permitted in all residential zoning districts. The second ordinance amendment has to do with the accessory solar, as Rob brought up earlier. Currently, accessory solar applications, whether they're on the roof or ground mounted, are just considered accessory structures in our ordinance. They're not called out specifically or separately. And so they have to meet all of the setback regulations of the district that they're located in. The section that we're adding to section 36-71, exemptions from area placement and height regulations in the ordinance, would allow for a ground mounted solar facility in the A1 general agricultural, R1 single family, R2 single family, R3 single family, and R4 single family districts to allow a reduced rear yard setback. Just like decks, we allow decks to encroach 10 feet into the rear yard setback. We also are allowing them to go up to 12 feet in height. And so those are the two major changes that are in the accessory solar ordinance. And then lastly, we provided some modifications to definitions and the landscape ordinance, focusing more on promoting removal of invasive species and promoting native plantings and the reduction of turf grass in future commercial, industrial, and multifamily developments. These provisions do not apply to single family homes. They are for development projects. And so I'm happy to answer any questions on any of those that anyone may have.
You very much. And any questions of fact for our planning consultant? All right, then we'll open that up for folks who are present here, would like to address the planning commission on those three ordinance changes. Okay, seeing no one here, anyone online? No hands. And what we typically do is then close the public hearing, and then under new business, we have that item for discussion and possible action. So with that,
Close.
move to close. Commissioner Hyde, is there support? Support from Commissioner Fletcher. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, public hearing closed at 7:14. And I'll open the next public hearing, and that is OA number 25006, C2 text amendment change. And open that public hearing at 7:14. And first we'll hear from our planning consultant and then we'll open it up to the public.
I think the applicant is also there, Hunter. Mr. Comstock requested a modification to the text of the zoning ordinance to allow indoor recreation uses as a conditional use in the C2 district. I met with Mr. Comstock and explained that currently that's a use that is not allowed in the district in which his business is located in, and that the Township Planning Commission and the board are looking in the near future to start talking about modifications to the overall uses that are allowed in the Jackson Road overlay corridor, but we weren't yet ready to bring forth one particular use for a change. And so Hunter, Mr. Comstock, the applicant, decided to apply for a text amendment, and he is requesting that in private indoor recreation facilities be added as a special or conditional land use in the C2 general commercial zoning district. He provided some language. I modified it a touch based on his suggestion. So, and I don't have a preference whether it be permitted or conditional. I think in C4, it's a permitted use. In I1, it's a conditional use. But I would leave some discussion to that up to the Planning Commission. And I think Hunter's there. He can answer any questions you might have. And I'm happy to answer anything I can help to support.
Well, I didn't realize that there was typically we hear from the applicant, but in this case, I think that makes sense. So, but if you're done, then we'll go ahead and have the applicant give some background on the need for the text amendment. Well, and do sign in under the public hearing. That's,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
got the right title on it.
I'm Hunter. This is Alex.
I'm Alex, yeah.
We're the owners of Hometown Pizza. And we're trying to expand to get the golf simulator in the same area as the pizza shop.
And then similar to what he said, I guess any questions that any of you guys would have, I have a very similar concept business in between Eder and Tecumseh, where we have pizza and then we have 2 golf simulator raised there. We kind of use them together in the same space. So, and I've had that now for 3 years there. So I guess any questions that you guys would have in terms of how it looks or what we're looking to have, that's kind of what we're here for, so.
Yes, go ahead.
Right now. I've seen golf simulators on a big scale, like the big screen could be down there, the person's about where you're sitting in the
Mhm.
swing.
Yep.
Is that the kind of simulator, or are you talking about like a?
It is like the one that you're talking about, yep. In this, we would have 3 bays in there, so. In comparison to other businesses, they might have 8 to 10 in a building, and that's kind of their sole business is the golf simulators. For us, our pizza is still our primary, and then we also have kind of that interactive entertainment ability where, you know, at the place that I have down there, we have leagues of couples leagues, ladies leagues, retirees in the mornings, kids' birthday parties. So it kind of hits a big audience of people that have used it and liked it a lot, so.
You have leagues for the simulators?
Yep, and then we do company events too. They do holiday parties where they book it out so their employees can come. Very wide usage, more than I even realized before getting into it, so, but it's been nice.
You have a question? Go ahead.
I'm gonna assume this will increase your parking, your need for parking, and I understand that's a common lot for the other businesses, so how would this impact?
So our peak hours for that are very much so evening after 4 or 5 PM or weekend based. And with only doing the 3 bays, on average, even on a peak time, it's, even if it was everybody driving individually, which isn't that common, it'd be 4 people per bay, so that's 12 additional vehicles per se. I wouldn't say it limits it to that, but it wouldn't be much more than that ever, so that's kind of.
Would you have to get the approval of the other tenants?
we've got approval with the, yeah,
In the plaza that we're in, the only restaurant, or the only place that's open after 4 is Base Camp, which is at the other end, so there's plenty of parking every day.
Oh, that's where you're in.
mhm. The second from the end in that, yeah.
Right? Any other? questions? Yeah.
However, this could.
This is a
improve
text amendment.
To the C2,
Mm.
so it won't be limited to just their location.
Exactly.
It does change what is allowed for several, I don't know how many there are sites. I guess, Laura, how many properties would this affect along Jackson Road?
Quite a few. Quite a few properties, but this is also one of those uses that are it's only allowed in C4 and I1, which are two zoning districts, which we have limited
Right.
additional properties in. And this is like the accessory dwelling units. This is probably one of the uses in varying forms that I hear about a lot. And there's a lot of potential for businesses in this indoor recreation that we really don't have a place for in Scio Township.
So that kind of begs the question about it being permitted or conditional.
Conditional.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Right,
Yes.
right.
So
But that's for the.
That's for our discussion.
Right, but I was wanting to,
Just flag that.
you know,
Yeah,
Flag, got my attention soon.
all right,
Just,
yes.
just
you
for
have a question?
clarification.
Uh-huh.
Huron Pet Supply is open to 7
Mhm.
up in that facility.
It's tight in that parking lot. I mean, I go to that restaurant, I go to that pet store.
Yeah. Luckily for us, being towards the end there is where it's not near as packed, obviously. The initial part there, right where base camp is and that, especially in the middle of the day, it definitely gets a little congested. For us, being the second unit from the end there, we notice it when we're working in pizza all the time at night. We're the only cars there, and we don't even park out back yet because we just have the pizza, so it's not too much of a hindrance, I guess, so.
Yeah, and we won't be discussing it as much as for this particular parcel as, for the entire zoning.
Fair enough. Yep.
District, but,
Okay.
yeah.
So, but for this, did you previously apply for a liquor license?
We attempted to,
Yes.
or like started the process
Right.
with the DBA,
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
or
DDA,
DBA, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes,
and it was declined for what reason?
it wasn't declined, because of the zoning for the golf simulator. Or it wasn't declined, it was just, that was brought up that the golf simulator couldn't be in that zoning, so then.
I think there's two different things. One is a use and another is a
like,
service, serving alcohol. Is that your intention?
To have a beer and wine license to go along with the golf simulators would be the overall intention, yes. We kind of paused on pushing for that liquor license until we knew, obviously, that was something we could do, so.
I think it's something we
So-
should be aware of if we do it as conditional use. That's all.
So I'm a little bit not understanding, the DBA turned you down for a liquor license because they knew you were planning for a simulator that wasn't gonna be in
No.
that zone?
We applied, or we started the application process through the DDA a while back, but then they brought that up. We we never applied.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You said that.
We-
That just was brought up because
Has
of
abandoned.
that
per
question.
se?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good word.
So we just wanted to wait until we knew for sure how we could go forward, and then we would pick back up that process. hopefully.
Simulator, liquor, that sounds like a lot of parking spaces.
The beer, it's beer and wine, and that only is for the people already in the simulator. It's not for like an additional bar scene.
Have it with your pizza.
What's that?
We don't have
Just
seats.
have it with your pizza. Oh, it's only
It's not
beer, yeah.
attached.
It would just be, yeah. It would be just for when you're in the golf simulator bays, you could have pizza, also have obviously beer or wine. And that's for your use when you're in that space. So,
How many parking spaces are it? I mean,
Oh,
well, maybe that's not a fair question because I'm trying to figure out none of the businesses have guaranteed parking spaces. Everybody uses all those parking spaces.
Right, right. I mean, I would say comfortably, like, don't quote me on it, but at least 15 to 17 or 18 that would be available during our peak times, more than likely. We have talked about that with the landlord as well. But that's, that's just for us, like I said, we.
As opposed to the text amendment. Okay. Any other questions, the applicant? Okay, then, Laura, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Yeah, so whether you determine whether it's a permitted use or a conditional use, the permitted use still would require zoning compliance. And as part of that, we review the parking. And they would still have to demonstrate that there's enough shared parking for this use. And that's in any location, right? When you get a zoning compliance permit, you have to demonstrate that there's enough parking for all of the uses intended on the site. And if it's a conditional use, we will talk about that when it comes back before you for conditional use approval. So I don't want to get too hung up on some of these details that aren't really related to the text amendment itself this evening. They're important, but not entirely related to the text amendment.
Well, they're important because, if I may, Laura, they're important because when we allow something to happen in one part of the township, someone comes along later and they're very good at researching what we did earlier. And we do at some point need to be able to explain why we're going to say yes to you and no to someone else or vice versa. So,
But this isn't a specific, it really isn't specific to any parcel. This is a text amendment that would allow this use in the C2 district.
I understand.
So they would still have to come back for approval for their golf simulators, whether
Well,
it's
so-
permitted or conditional, and we would talk about parking at that time.
Well, it could happen in the form of somebody could say, I want it in C1. You did it in C2, you got it in C3 and L, I think it's LI or I1. So in that context, it could come up.
But
I
it would
hear you.
require another text amendment.
Yeah. Yes, I'm saying someone could petition us for the same amendment in C1.
Right.
And they could say, as part of their rationale, they could say, you did it in is it C2 we're looking at? Yes,
Yeah.
in C2, why wouldn't you do it for us? So, anyway.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yep. All right, is there anyone that would like to address the planning commission on this text amendment? Welcome.
Thank you. Well, this has turned out to be very interesting, actually. I am here also, as a resident, Melissa Grotzinger. I live in Scio, but also, have owned an Ann Arbor business for about 15 years. And I recently purchased a franchise in the Back Nine Ann Arbor, which is also a golf simulator business. And our territory is 48103 and 48105. We live here in 48103 in Scio. So of course we'd love to open a place close to home if possible. And, part of the problem is there is extremely limited options in the whole of Ann Arbor for this type of business, within a certain amount of square footage. And after looking aggressively for 3 months, we continue to run into numerous issues with availability, landlord preferences on what types of businesses they want, even if they have tons of availability in their plazas, which has caused us to land presently on a space that is zone Z2, C2 on Jackson. And when Scio Township. And we just put an LOI on this property, hoping to eventually move towards a lease on Friday. But we found out that this issue is occurring and that this meeting was planned. And of course, that's why I'm here to discuss, hopefully urging you to move towards making this a permitted use. So a little bit about the business that I'm representing. It's the Back Nine Ann Arbor. It's a modern indoor recreation facility centered on golf simulators. It is not going to have a bar. It's not going to serve food. It is more or less, like a private indoor golf club. It's going to be mostly membership based. There will be some public tee times available. And it's 24/7. It's going to be in a secure, locked facility that can only be accessed by booking a tee time online and then us providing them with the ability to enter into the space. There will be leagues and lessons and some cross play. There's about 7 locations in Michigan presently. There's about 400 franchises sold nationally, and it's now becoming international. So I think the closest one to here might be Livonia, but they are coming quickly. There'll also be private events and parties, corporate, work sponsored events, and kids camps where we can offer kind of structured activities for kids to learn golf, and hopefully develop a love for the game. And so the purpose of the C2 zoning is, I believe, for general commercial use that serves residents and complements surrounding areas. This business is not going to have a lot of high traffic needs. Most of the time it might be individual or some group play. But it's a healthy, active recreation for families. We have a lot of population in the area that is, all of these houses coming up, which we bought last year. And so we would like to add to the diverse set of businesses available to the residents of the area.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the planning commission? Okay, you can come forward and
Pattinson again. I apologize for the tangent. I thought, Laura was gonna talk about wastewater treatment plants. That was part of the agenda packet. Will that be part of your discussion tonight?
we can highlight that. It just had to do with the definition.
Okay.
Yeah.
As many of you thought private wastewater treatment plants were a bad idea in Scio because we're on the hook for cleaning them up. I hope
This
you-
language is not dealing with that, whether or not they're good or bad or warranted or a good idea.
It's defining them.
It's in the definition excluding them from a certain
The ADU.
accessory
Ah,
dwelling unit.
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it isn't changing anything else in the.
Gotcha. Thank
It's
you.
real tangent.
Yeah. Really.
I apologize.
No, that's fine, Rob. Yep. Okay, then we'll move online. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing. Moved by Commissioner Walsh, support by Commissioner Hyde. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Right. Then we'll move along. We have no unfinished business, so we will move to site plan number 25008 forward. And this is for Scio Township's Fire Station 2.
Welcome, Chief.
Yeah.
Welcome. Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for the time tonight. You have before you a packet, our preliminary site plan for the fire station. You've already granted conditional use for the property. I hope you've had a chance to look through it. I don't have a whole lot prepared, but I'd love to take any questions you might have on the project.
With that, we'll go ahead and go to the planners report.
So, I mean, you just saw this at your last meeting, the conditional use that explained the location of Fire Station 2 on the 9.5 acre parcel located at 900 South Wagner. It's currently zoned A1 and government buildings are conditional use, and that's going to the conditional use will go to the trustees at their September 30th meeting tentatively. You have our review, and generally speaking, the the siting of the fire station on the lot meets all of the dimensional requirements of the A1 district. The only two items, we recommend that the planning commission consider as part of your discussion is that, you allow the perimeter tree placement to meet the interior parking lot landscaping requirements, and that you waive the alternative, or provide, waive or give the alternative okay for the foundation plantings, due to the nature of the need for, emergency vehicle exiting, along one of the elevations. The detail engineering, plan will also include the lighting plan. And we're confident that that's going to meet all of the ordinance requirements as well. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have, and Stacy might have something to provide you as well.
So as I understand it, Laura, I'm just drawing a picture for myself. The plans talk about perimeter, which is off the paved area, if you will, like the perimeter of the development. And
If
then
they're
the other
on-
landscaping is within the building or.
So the ordinance requires a certain number of parking lot trees to be interior to the parking lot, but the planning commission can waive any landscaping requirement, and instead of providing trees within the parking lot due to the nature of the need for large truck circulation and, potential, event parking in the center of the parking lot, they've provided their interior parking lot trees along the perimeter of the parking lot. And we've allowed for that, to happen in other developments too, for other reasons, whether it's the location of utilities or for circulation or because it's a really small parking lot. It's not uncommon that we would allow this alternative.
And can you elaborate on the foundation plantings,
Sure.
where those are being, yeah.
So
accepted?
foundation plantings are required where a building faces a public street or a parking lot. In this case, the east side of the building facing Jackson Road is required to provide 5 ornamental trees and 35 shrubs. 2 ornamental trees and 13 shrubs have been provided. The west side is required to provide 5 ornamental trees and 35 shrubs, and no foundations are provided, trees or plantings are provided, as this area is utilized for emergency vehicle access. The south side of the building is required to provide 5 ornamental trees and 32 shrubs, and 4 trees and 50 shrubs have been provided. So you would be waiving the number of plantings on 2 sides, and then, waiving foundation plantings altogether, on another side.
Just for clarity, Laura, I think it's facing Wagner Road, not Jackson Road.
Oh, yes, you're right. It is Wagner Road.
And Chief, did you want to talk about a little bit about the reason for that?
Sure. So a couple things there, and I'll go back to the parking lot at first. Laura is absolutely right. We're bringing big trucks in through the main parking lot and around. They have to have room to turn. And we also anticipate using the open space of that parking lot as a training area. So we'd bring cars in, roll them over and use extrication tools, and we'd have hoses flaked out and do typical fire department training in that area. And with trees within the parking lot, that greatly restricts what we can do, including move around the site. And then specific to foundation plantings, if you look on page 1 of your plan here, you kind of see the front of the building, and this is what you'd be looking at if you're standing on Wagner looking west. And the main purpose of a fire station is to have emergency vehicles be able to exit the building. So we have to have big bay doors that are open, so we lose a lot of space along that front side where we could put foundation plantings. So that's really the reason for the limitation on the front side. And we do run into a little bit of a problem on the north side of the property. We have to have an emergency vehicle access road that drives along the side of the building. And we also have a generator tucked in there and a lot of mechanical equipment. So we really run out of room on that side as well. So those are really the main reasons we're looking for a variance from the requirements. And we're happy to make those up elsewhere on the project. It's just that with the way the fire department functions and the site we have some limitations that we need to modify.
Is there a physical issue with moving that, that emergency drive further to the north to allow more space for planting?
There
along
is,
there?
yes. As it is where it exists, we have to put in a retaining wall. So we're at the limit we can get to on the side.
And there's no, may I ask,
Yeah,
is there any reason why you couldn't have pushed the building and everything else further
Yes,
south?
yes, so if you look,
Is it grading? Is that the issue?
not necessarily grading, that's part of it. And if you look at page, your third page of your plan here, it kind of shows the topography of the site. And if you notice, along the bottom of the site, there's this little drainage ditch that comes up and works its way through the property towards the back. It goes from, I guess, southeast to northwest. If we were to modify that, we trigger a lot of other Water Resources Commission ramifications, so we have to leave that alone. Otherwise, we have to figure in a lot more detention for the pond in the back.
What water is that draining? Is it draining to the northwest?
Correct, yep, if you notice on this, on the same, it's actually labeled sheet C110. Most of that field, headed to the south drains into that, top corner or that top, middle part. And it actually has a large, I think it's a 48-inch drain that runs underneath Liberty and heads off into the Scio, the U of M's property.
Saginaw.
Yeah, Saginaw Forest, yeah. So yeah, we wanna stay as far away from that drainage ditch as possible, so as not to have to account for any other retention, detention issues.
Yeah, if you modify it, then you
Yeah.
have, you own it.
Correct.
You are proposing modifying some portion of the drainage ditching. I mean, you're changing one of them, is that correct?
No, that existing ditch that you see winding through the property shall remain untouched.
But there's another, is it a separate ditch that's being changed, the routing of?
No,
Okay.
we have to, once we put the building on the property, we have to capture water runoff from that, which we'll do with a detention pond, or retention, I'm not sure which, at the back end of the property.
A question about also, Crossroads, is able to, actually infiltrate 100% of theirs. Did you investigate the infiltration rate available to you?
I don't have the report back. We did that about 2 weeks ago, and from just our consultant's visual initial impressions, we'll have no problem infiltrating completely there.
Why do you need 35 parking spaces?
So we have a training room in the building, a training room. It seats, it's about half the size of this room here, and we anticipate having that open to the public for various events. We'll conduct public trainings there. The clerk has expressed interest in using that as a polling place, as well as just another public meeting space within the community. So while we would probably use 10 spaces on a given day for our staff's use, that provides access to the public so that we can have members of the public use the building as well.
And is it also still being planned as a resilience hub?
Absolutely, yep.
So in an emergency, it would be
Yeah.
used as a.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
our training room could have a ton of functions. We've talked about community groups using it, voting, resiliency. So, if we have a long-term power outage, we can use it as a distribution point for supplies, water, whatever the community may need. Community training, fire department training. So we sized it for the potential need there.
Other questions? Okay, we'll go to our engineering review.
Our review is pretty straightforward tonight. We recommended these plans in our letter from September 3rd with no outstanding site plan comments. I did want to clarify that there's a response letter from the applicant in the packet that was provided in response to our previous letter from August. Those site plan comments have since been addressed. So just wanted to make sure that those weren't being focused on. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have engineering wise.
Jamal?
So I'm looking at your memo dated September 3rd, and you outline 14 comments. And have all of these 14 comments been addressed or resolved to
Not-
your satisfaction?
Not yet. Those are our detailed engineering comments, so those will be addressed in the next submittal before it goes to the board. They don't affect our recommendation tonight, though.
And they don't come to us, is that correct?
That's correct. This is a straight site plan. So we get to see it at preliminary phase, and then we don't see it again and goes directly to the board. Because it would be then a by right site plan. Any questions for our engineering consultant? Okay. Any other questions on anything else in the packet? I do want to bring up one item that was brought up at the Environmental Sustainability Task Force, and that was with that open drainage area, we're leasing to Vestergaard's, and there is a potential for the runoff from the cattle feces to get into that stream. And so it was just brought up that we might want to give some sort of consideration if we continue to lease it or talk to Vestergaard about some sort of because I see that it's also draining from the property that he owns and farms, that we might need it might be good to have a discussion about how to handle that in a more environmentally friendly way, because that is a major contamination of stormwater. Yeah.
And that's not part of this, is that correct? I mean.
No, it's,
Vestergaard-
we also lease grazing property, the township does. So that is, and that may continue because there's still open land available. So the ESTF just wanted to raise that as an issue to maybe consider in the lease and then the conversations with Vestergaard's.
So Jan,
Mhm.
I understand the issue that you're raising,
Mhm.
and I wonder if you have any concerns about the way the fire station land would be, the right proper term is, but it would be laid out or leveled or not leveled, or that would contribute to that problem.
No, because all of the runoff from the fire station has to go into it'll be an infiltration basin now. So it has to be, there's a 4-bay requirement, there's just a bunch of requirements they have to meet that, agriculturally you don't.
So there's nothing that the fire station project can do to prevent the flow of water onto their property during this phase of the project.
I don't think you can affect neighboring property water runoff.
No, well, the neighboring property is owned by us, but putting that aside.
No, it's owned by Vestergaard's. Vestergaard owns it.
Doesn't Vestergaard's property water go south into the property that they're leasing from us? And thereby being next to the fire station property?
It's north.
I'm hearing 3 different answers.
Listen to the chief.
Go chief.
Yeah, ours is the northernmost slice of
Yes, goes
property.
north, about-
Yes, investor.
We're saying.
So, yeah, I just got my north-south wrong, but we're all on the same path. I was just wondering if there was some barrier that this project should attempt to put on. No,
It would be more with how to deal with the leasing issue that the township.
Well, you would expect the lease is no longer in force, right?
So when we're done with the project, we
Yeah.
anticipate the back half, being available for lease again.
That's not where this drainage goes.
It is not, it'd be to the west of, the drainage ditch.
Go back here.
Yeah, it'd almost square off that little jog piece there, and anything to the west would potentially be leased back to Mr. Vestergaard. Which he's also expressed an interest in continuing to use.
Righty. And I think the only other one was, to have your landscape architect take a look at the revised, landscape ordinance. I mean, it's not, it's in process, but it sure would be nice if, Scio's, that our own properties would promote, reduction of turf grass, native planting and so forth.
Yeah, that is definitely our anticipation. I think we'd have very little turf grass. Except for the small patch in the front, around the main entrance, everything else will be returned to some sort of native, wild type. However, that may form out in the future, some sort of native wild type, seed or fields.
Very-
Whatever works there.
In the front, you could put Pennsylvania sedge. It's very attractive. It's about this tall.
Unfamiliar with that, but I'll take that note. Thank you.
No mo.
No,
I like that even better.
All right. Discussion. Someone wanna offer a motion?
Who wants to test the reading skills?
All right,
Oh, I heard.
we have two opportunities.
I saw that hand out of the corner of my head.
Go ahead,
It's pretty
Commissioner Hyde.
With regard to site plan 25008, fire station number 2. Based on the information received from the applicant and reflected in the minutes of this meeting, the planning commission finds that the site plan 25008, fire station 2, meets the required standards and findings for site plan approval pursuant to section 36-180 of the zoning ordinance and recommends approval. The site plan is granted with the following conditions. That the concerns noted in the township planners review dated August 25th and 25 be addressed. Concerns noted in the township engineers review dated, is this the correct date? September 3rd, 2025, be addressed. Are there additions that they considered using the revised landscaping ordinance language that is not in effect yet, but we might as well implement it ourselves. And I don't think that we can note anything more about the runoff. Okay, that's it then.
We do need to waive the,
Oh, yes, we have to formally grant.
grant the waivers.
That we. Better get back to that page. That we allow perimeter tree placement to meet the interior parking lot landscaping requirements. And two, or in addition, that we waive the foundation plantings requirements.
That, I guess as, it's not all of them, right?
I thought it was, waive the requirements. Laura? Are we-
As illustrated in the site plan, I guess.
Yeah,
I would
it's
say.
not all, yes, it's not all of them. It's just as noted in the, it might, you could say as noted in my
It's
report.
noted in the planner's report.
Is there support? Second by Commissioner Moore. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Roll call vote.
Walsh, yes. Moore,
Yes.
Hindle,
Yes.
Brand,
Yes.
Hyde,
Yes.
Fletcher,
Yes.
Culbertson.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you very much.
Thank you, commissioners. Have a great evening.
All right. Okay, on to what was number one, now number two. For the, our, text amendment changes. This is not the C2, text amendment, but the other ordinance changes. And that includes the landscape, the ADUs, and,
Accessory.
that's,
That's the ADU.
yeah, that's the ADU. Yep. And
Accessory solar.
accessory solar, right. Further discussion on those, and Laura, would you just talk a little, just briefly, so people understand what the issue was with the community wastewater change?
Sure. So currently the definition and the section regarding community wastewater systems is specific to, well, let's hang on, let me find the definition here. So a community wastewater system means a facility which is owned by a non-government entity and designed, constructed, operated, and maintained to transport, collect, process, and treat sanitary sewage from more than one dwelling unit or structure. So if you were to have an ADU that is in a separate structure, and your septic system would then constitute a community utility wastewater system. And so what we've done is we've kept the definition and the standard, the intent of the community wastewater utility system ordinance the same, but specifically exempted accessory dwelling units from the definition so that the community wastewater system definition and intent would not apply in those cases.
So in other words, correct me if I'm wrong, Laura, if you put an accessory unit on your property for your mom or your grandparents, you wouldn't have to, in addition to your wastewater system, put in another wastewater system.
So that would be the decision of the health department. They would have to do an analysis to see whether your current system is sized properly. Because when you add bedrooms and toilets, that could change the size of the septic system. But we wouldn't count it as the township wouldn't count it as a community utility system. But anytime you add on bedrooms or bathrooms, it's likely that you should have your septic system analyzed by the county health department.
So it allows the ADU to share a septic system without being a community wastewater.
For our purposes, yes.
Yes.
Right. Discussion on any of the other ordinances?
It's pretty.
I would just say that this has been a lot of work. We've been plugging away at all these ordinance changes for a while now, trying to address different issues in the community. So this is the culmination of all of those discussions. I guess it's been a year, I don't know.
Yeah.
Some of these we've talked about prior to that.
Yeah.
All right. Hearing no, we'll entertain a motion. This is a lengthy one.
It's so long. It's so worthless tonight.
All right, go ahead, Commissioner Hyde.
This is, based on the information received from the well, let me start over. This is, ordinance amendment 25005, text amendments. Based on the information received from the applicant and reflected in the minutes of this meeting, the planning commission recommends approval of the following text amendments to the ordinance to the Township Board of Trustees. Skip the line. Article 36-1 in general, subsection 36-5 definitions. Amend the following definitions. Community wastewater utility systems and invasive plants. Add the following new definitions: accessory dwelling unit and family unit. So Article 36-3, district regulations, subsection 36-71, exemptions from area, placement, and height regulations, to include a new subsection C, residential solar facility setback exemption, allowing a reduction in the required rear setback for residential solar array placement, as well as other standards such as maximum height, exemption from lot coverage and positioning. Also subsections 36-67, listing accessory dwelling units as a permitted use in the recreation conservation, the RC, A1, ER, R1, R2, and R3 zoning districts. Article 36-4, general regulations. Continuing, that was just a comma. New subsection 36-101, accessory dwelling units, to allow accessory dwelling units as a permitted land use in the RC, A1, ER, R1, R2, and R3 zoning districts, and outline regulations such as size, number, residency, parking, setbacks, and lot coverage. Article 36-X, is that 10? Environmental regulations, subsection 36-318, sewage treatment and disposal, to exempt single-family residentially zoned parcels with approved accessory dwelling units from the definition of community wastewater CWUS, community wastewater utility systems, and this section. 36-XI, natural resource protection and enhancement regulations, subsection 36-345, landscaping, greenbelt, buffers, screening, to encourage the reduction of turf grass and removal of invasive species, implement greater composition diversity, update prohibited native species and prohibited non-native species lists, and allow for exemptions in prohibited native species on a case-by-case basis granted by the planning commission.
Thank you. Is there support?
I'll support it.
Support Commissioner Fletcher. Hey, any further discussion? All right. Roll call vote, please.
Fletcher,
Yes.
Kindle,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes.
Hyde,
Yes,
Walsh, yes, Moore,
Yes.
Culbertson,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you very much, Commissioner and Planning. That was a big chunk of work in one page. So thank you. All right, next up is the ordinance text amendment number 25006 C2 indoor recreation text amendment. So, discussion, Ed.
I mean, we want more activities, so I'm all for it. Bring activities to the township.
I agree.
Yeah, bowling's not such a big thing anymore. Golf really is, and what's it hurting? Not people outside tearing things up, and for the most part.
I'm in support as well. I'm just looking through C2 and C4 and saying the intent is specific. So I'm looking and seeing conditional use, and the one that struck me was indoor theaters and performance space for artistic expression is conditional in C2, but permitted in C4. And that leads me to sort of say it's a conditional for C2, but it's not a permitted. That's where I would put
I
it.
agree.
I think we're gonna eventually change this though too,
Yeah, but for now,
but for now, right?
I think that makes it very consistent with.
Sure.
And it allows for some, looking at a specific site, because our C2 sites are kind of scattered
Scattered around.
around. Any other?
Are you?
It can be family fun type of thing too. It's not just for adults, so I think they're gonna draw in a diverse crowd. That people will be able to enjoy the space.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think one of the, if you look at the Jackson Road corridor report too, it also, suggested that, more recreation and private recreation was something that's very desirable on Jackson Road.
And one of the things we've talked about along that corridor is where people can walk or bike to as well, and they're in a location right now.
Mhm.
There's already other things in that plaza that attract people.
Mhm. And that's a
There's a lot
good
of
point.
parking.
We would want to review the site plan, not just, and so making it conditional we might be able to implement bike racks, that kind of thing, that might get overlooked if it was just by right.
Yeah, and it also allows for some shared parking based on hours and that type of thing. Yeah.
I looked at the satellite image of the property, and there's a lot of parking. There's
Yeah.
parking even around the back, and
yeah.
Yeah, I counted at least 80.
yeah, it's plenty of
I
parking.
forgot about the back.
The back.
That's the
Yeah,
place
and-
to
and-
park.
And that would be the major thing, what is adjacent to it, from a disturbance standpoint, and what kind of resources are available in that particular site, so I think that's, conditional use makes it a little more cautious, I guess. Yeah, review. Okay.
Well, I parked in there. I parked in there when it was the Ann Arbor Arms store was in there. I parked in it before to go to the Huron Pet Supply and parked in there to go to base camp. And I can tell you, when cars get in there, it's a narrow parking lot.
Right.
Shape.
Right.
It is.
Because when you start to back up, you're backing, if you're parked cars on the other side, you're up against those parked cars right away. So, but, I'm in favor of the project. I just, my biggest thing is I think we should leave some, flexibility for the planning commission and make it a conditional use.
All right, so I think someone Commissioner Brand, would you like to do that one?
Did you scribe it for me?
Uh-huh.
You're on a roll tonight. Really good job.
Okay, regarding ordinance amendment 25006 C-2 indoor recreational text amendment. Based upon the information received from the applicant and reflected in minutes of this meeting, the planning commission recommends approval of the following text amendment to the Township Board of Trustees. Article 36-3 District Regulations, subsection 36-74, parentheses, is that L?
It's an L.
Yes, thank you. C-2, general commercial to allow private indoor recreation facilities, including but not limited to golf simulators, arcades, indoor courts/fields, climbing walls, and other fully enclosed recreation activities as a conditional use.
Thank you, and support Commissioner Fletcher. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote.
Walsh, yes. Moore,
Yes.
Hyde,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes,
Hindle,
Yes.
Fletcher,
Yes.
Culbertson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much, and, that was a good, I think, text amendment, and thank you for bringing it to
Thank you.
the township's attention. Mhm. All right,
Maybe I'll come over there and have some pizza.
Absolutely.
When the golf course.
Been one before, but.
All right.
All winter long. This one.
then, moving along, we have our reports, and commission activity, and I want to mention that, thank you again, Laura, for your report. Do you have anything you'd like to add to it?
Sure, I would just, since Rob brought it up about the 8-point building supply, that came before you, I think in July, and we did have a deadline of August 1st to meet with them. I've been in contact with Ally, who was the applicant representative at that meeting over the course of the last couple of months. I'm actually, I think, meeting with Atwell tomorrow. They were having a heck of a time getting, engineering firm to commit to assisting them. And so I've been working with them through the township attorney's office to come to a conclusion. We just have not had new information to report or discuss yet. But I hope to have a better update for you at your next meeting, after meeting with them tomorrow.
And next door to them, the JJ's.
I have noted their issue based to the code enforcement officer based on our conversation, Commissioner Hindle.
Well, are we gonna resolve? Well, let me assume that that movement, you're passing that reference over to them, that we're gonna try to resolve their issues.
Yeah, it starts at the code enforcement.
Yeah. Oh.
And, has, someone communicated with, Mr., was it Lutz?
Yes, he has been in contact with me, and Mariah and Alicia Fink are going to be in contact with him.
Okay, because when we left here last time, we were gonna create.
Subcommittee, but, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that that's, we're still working on the correct.
Subcommittee.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's the route we're gonna actually go, because of the timing, and how long it's taken to get any movement, on 8 Points behalf. So, we're still working through all of the options to get them to, come into compliance. We're doing our best. And,
So.
and the
would you
township attorney is involved with their attorney at this point.
So would you say that the length of time it's taken you to work through these issues is that you're running up against some resistance?
I don't know that it's resistance. I don't think it's resistance necessarily. I think that they don't understand the process and they have not understood exactly what we're looking for. However, so that's why the township attorney became involved and their attorney became involved. And now they have contracted with Atwell. So that's that's the information I have, and I have not spoken to Atwell yet. That's tomorrow. So.
Well, I would say that the planning commission is pretty good at expressing itself about its expectations. And I thought at that meeting, along with Commissioner Hindle, myself, and some other commissioners, we made it very clear that the changes needed to be made and that their acts prior to us finding out what was going on the property, which were in violation of our code, needed to be remedied. And so I thought that the young lady that was here who presented on their behalf, she understood it. She seemed to understand it. She said she understood it. And
They do
Keep us-
understand it, and they're working towards providing us a plan, but they've had difficulty finding a consulting engineer to assist them.
yes, you said that. Okay. All right.
All right. All right. Our engineering consultant, anything to report?
No, I have nothing to report tonight.
All right. Then,
Can I ask?
yes. go ahead.
Laura, could you just email me your report? I tried to download it from the agenda and I still couldn't get it.
Yes, I will do that.
Yeah, it
Oh,
had
you
a
couldn't
little-
get it either? Yeah.
Okay. Then,
I don't remember.
mhm. I don't have it. I usually download them all and it's not in my little,
And I could not get it just
No.
now.
Yeah, I'm not getting it.
okay, so, chair report, I just want to, kind of reiterate for the Board of Trustees, that our recommendation for the transportation, committee and also getting together a group that would facilitate, the Jackson Road corridor. And, tomorrow night, this is ESTF, the composting pilot will be before the Board of Trustees and also reminding people that of the sustainability fair, that will be October 5th and, hope everyone has a chance to stop by and learn a little bit more about sustainability in the township. All right, we have a new tabler this year and that will be, the resilience office for Washington County will be there. And we will have an actual Wave bus, so everyone can learn how to use Wave.
What's the time on that?
The fair runs from 12 to 3:30 on October 5th. And if anybody wants to help us set up, that's at 11. Okay. Commissioner Brandt.
Yes, two, from the prior Board of Trustees meeting, two items that came before the Planning Commission. Piper Ridge conditional rezoning, was recommended for denial. And also Knights of Columbus, that property on, Dexter and Arbor was also recommended for denial.
Actually, the board denied, right?
Denied, yeah.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
who's
I-
to go to next?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's more clear.
All right. Then, zoning board of appeals.
Since we can't see Laura's report, I'll give a brief. We had a meeting in August. There were two variance requests on it for a single property, a front setback and the right for the applicant to live in the existing home while a new home is being built. Both were granted. The September meeting has been canceled. The item in September is moved to October.
Don't have anything for the road advisory. LPC is meeting this Thursday. Kathleen, there really hasn't been a meeting since the last one. I was just wondering if you had any other LPC stuff, didn't you?
No, I did not attend. I watched the video, but I wasn't in person.
Okay, PPP.
I don't have an update for that, or there's no
Here,
hearing.
your
Watershed Council update.
Western Washington Regional Advisory Group.
I have nothing, we haven't met yet, we have a meeting on the 25th of September. And that's gonna be about finance and housing. This is part of this housing series. So, speakers have been invited to come, and I'm gonna ask a crossroads question. Because I forget his name, Mr. Crossroads told me in a pre-app meeting that he could not get funding for Crossroads. That would be with some regular rental and affordable housing rental. He said that mortgage companies either want to do, or finance companies either want to do regular rental or all affordable housing. So I'd be curious to find out, and I'll let you know.
Yeah, I think that's a good question, because I've also heard that, that mixing it in, you can have separate buildings, but they really want the financing to be separate. And I don't know enough of the background in that. I know because that came up with Viridian, because they were doing something with Avalon, and they had to have a totally separate properties. And they wanted to be able to have solar that would cross the properties and so forth. So it really got mucky with the funding requirements, with that, the Avalon portion of that development. Yeah, so I think that would be a very good question to understand what the barriers are, to do that. I
But
mean,
you're saying that you could do it with separate buildings within a complex?
I've heard that. I have heard that. I don't know if they actually carve out those separate buildings as
Do a separate loan?
or condoize them or something like that, but yeah, there is something with the financing of it.
So the crossroads will be before the board of trustees, not tomorrow night, but 2 weeks.
You know, I hear people saying that, so that project is still alive? I thought it was,
They
someone
sold it.
purchased it.
Yeah, so it's a new developer.
And when will that be before the?
In 2 weeks from tomorrow.
September 30th.
All right,
And when,
go ahead.
sorry, when, Kim, when was the meeting you referred to?
When was that meeting?
Yes.
Go ahead, I'll just look it up.
Okay. Any other announcements or reports?
I just wanted to say, as an FYI to people, I just found out from my friend tonight that Saline Township has a big data center that wants to go in on Michigan Avenue, just west of the Rustic Golf Course. They're doing a meeting Wednesday night at 7 PM at their township hall on Braun Road because they don't want it. And I don't know how people feel about data centers, but it probably will be something that will try to be encroached on us as well. When I was visiting my son in Tucson, they successfully fought one off there. Land is cheap, plentiful, it's a desert, but water's not. But if you compare Ann Arbor to Ipsy in their distance, the next nearest town to Tucson is gonna take the data center instead, which doesn't help, you're still in the desert. But I think it's gonna be something that we are going to be looking at as a township, before probably too much longer. So I'd prefer us to maybe stay a little more agricultural than a data center, but that's me. So if anybody wants to go to the meeting, I'm sure they'll be glad to.
They are water hogs for cooling
And electric.
and they're water hogs on the grid. And I have a very good article that I shared with the W2 rag folks, because, but they need large spaces.
Yes.
I think our land's too.
We don't-
Too valuable, too expensive for.
Let's hope so.
So, I mean, and there's one that moved in Augusta Township, and I remember a little blurb on NPR, and they're like, and we're gonna have to talk to the residents probably about the water. So anyway, I will send that around to folks to read, because it gives you a little bit more, a lot more insight to it.
And I do believe that the Washtenaw Resiliency Office is trying to look at those too and trying to figure out, because they have also been approached by, I think there were 3 in the paper that were listed, and I understand that there are more than that are actually interested in
Maybe they should
Washtenaw
look in
County.
from northern Michigan where it's less populated and there's land and water, but. I
But
don't
no
know.
power necessarily. Yeah.
Yeah, they wanna.
But I do want to say that there could be a creative approach if there was a development of a district heating system that went along with the data center, so that there would be a community benefit of,
Heat, waste.
yeah, using that
Heat,
waste
they
heat, to actually heat the, you know, a
Part of the year
significant
that
area,
might
but
be
you'd have to be closer to development to be able to do that. But anyway, it's definitely gonna be, yeah, an item of concern.
Do they want treated water, or they don't want well water, do they, for that?
Well, they would have
For
to,
its
any kind of
cooling
cooling,
electronics.
you have to treat your water, just because of the minerals and so forth, they'll mess up the cooling systems if you don't have.
In Tucson, the company that wanted to move in there, that tried unsuccessfully, said they were gonna treat the water somehow. And where it sounds like they're gonna go in the next neighboring town is farmland. For either cotton, Pima cotton, which is a very nice cotton, or hay. So it's already irrigated. is set up for water. They have to water up there. It's not an option because they don't get a lot of rain. So, yeah, they do have to do something with the water. I don't think they take it straight out of the ground and use it.
There's some systems
And
that,
try to
and that's the problem, is they use the water and it evaporates. So all you're doing is using water and it evaporates. And there are other systems that are closed.
Yeah.
So they feed back in. But I'll send you this article. It's a really good article on how they work.
The closed systems, the water deteriorates.
You're right.
Okay.
Over
And
time.
so, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is gonna be a challenge.
And it doesn't bring jobs.
My
There's no
radiant
jobs.
doesn't bring
It's
jobs.
a bunch of machines with.
Then
You
my-
still have to
You're
supplement.
humming, clicking, putting off heat, yeah, yeah.
Even though it's a closed system.
Okay,
June 13th, 23.
I was hoping it before Crossroads came.
all right, then, anything else? Yep, well, public comment? I forgot that. Anyone? No. Okay, I opened public comment at 8:25, by the way. All right? All right. And,
Move to close public comment?
moved by Commissioner Hyde,
Second.
support by Commissioner Moore. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Right? Anything else that's come before the commission?
Move to adjourn.
Move to, motion by Walsh and Hyde. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. All right, we are adjourned at 8:26. Thank you.
I know, it's all. Yeah.
Recording stopped. That was my calendar. That's the sort of.